Well, good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Holy Trinity Church on this rather horrible and cold evening. It's good to see you. Many of you may have come last year when we welcomed Kaufman, I think it is, down from Yorkshire, where he lives, although he comes from New Jersey originally, to give us hard times and hard travelling, the story of Woody Guthrie's life, which he did again last night in the exchange. But tonight he's going to take us into a rather deeper level of understanding Woody's life, and he's going to tell you all about that. Now, I've been told that I must tell you all about the practical things and how there's a fire exit out that way, and that's it, isn't it? Oh, and out the back. Right, okay. Also out the back, the toilets, you just go straight through. And mobile phones, he's told me, please turn off your mobile phones now. Anyway, anything else I should be announcing? Oh, there's an interval halfway through, and you have cake and tea and coffee, so do stay and have some of that as well. Anyway, that's enough of all that. So please welcome Will Kaufman.
Of highway, saw above me the endless skyway. I saw below me the golden valley. I said this land was made for you and me. I roamed and I rambled, followed my footsteps through the sparkling sands of her diamond desert. And all around me a voice kept singing, said this land was made for you and me. Well, the sun comes shining while I was strolling through wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling. As the fog was lifting, that voice kept singing. It said this land was made for you and me. There was a big high wall there, you know it tried to stop me. Had a painted sign there, said private property. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. And that side was made for you and me. And down in your city, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I seen my people. And as they stood hungry, I stood there singing. I told them this land was made for you and me. Nobody living is ever gonna stop me as I go walking down my freedom highway. Nobody living is ever gonna make me turn back, because this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Welcome. That's a song that probably most of you probably know, and maybe that's the only Woody Guthrie song that a lot of people know. That's the song that presents, Woody is the great champion of American democratic values and the American landscape as well. Although a lot of people probably aren't aware of those radical anti-capitalist verses that are also in the song that never quite made it into the school songbooks. But Woody wrote them as well. There's another Woody Guthrie I think that people may be aware of, and this is the Woody who is known as the great Dust Bowl balladeer who really chronicled that epic migration of the migrants from the American Midwest in the 1930s on their weary way to the vineyards and orchards of California. He became their musical champion, I suppose, and in some respects you could say that he provided the soundtrack to John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath, or even Woody's own great novelization of his own autobiography, Bound for Glory. Lots of folks back east, they say, they're leaving home most every day. They're beating the hard old dusty way to the California line. Across the desert sands they roll, getting out of the old dust bowl. Well, they think they're coming to a sugar bowl, but here is what they'll find. The police at the port of entry say, you're number 14,000 for today. So if you ain't got the do-re-mi, if you ain't got the do-re-mi, then you'd better go back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee. California's a garden of Eden. It's a paradise to live in or see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got the do-re-mi. Now if you want to buy a home or farm, that can't do nobody no harm. Take your vacation by the mountains or the sea, but you better not swap your cow for car. You better stay right where you are. You better take this little tip from me, 'cause I look through the want ads every day, and the headlines in the papers always say, if you ain't got that do-re-mi, if you ain't got the do-re-mi, well then you'd better go back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee. California's a garden of Eden, and it's a paradise to live in or see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that old do-re-mi. Well, there's another Woody Guthrie who people might know, and that's the Woody Guthrie who's really the great union agitator and the sort of the radical rabble-rouser for the rights of working people to organize. And you'll hear one of the greatest picket line anthems, I suppose, is Woody Guthrie's Union Maid, which you may know. There once was a union maid who never was afraid of the goons and ginks and factory finks and the deputy sheriffs who made the raid. Went to the union hall when a meeting it was called, and when the company boys come round, she always stood her ground. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. No, you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union till the day I die. Now the union maid was wise to the tricks of the company spies. She wouldn't be fooled by the company stool. She'd always organize the guys, and she always got her way. When she struck for better pay, she'd show her card to the National Guard. This is what she'd say: you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union till the day I die. Thanks a lot. The point I'm making is there are a lot of Woody Guthries. There's the Woody Guthrie who maybe some people know primarily as the writer of some of the most enduring and endearing children's songs. Like, let's see. Take me riding in the car, car. Take me riding in the car, car. I take you riding in the car, car. Take you riding in the car. Click, clack, open up the door, girls. Click, clack, open up the door, boys. Front door, back door, clickety, clack. Take me riding in the car. Awooga, wooga. Take me riding in the car. Take me riding in the car, car. Take me riding in the car, car. Well, I'll take you riding in the car, car. Take you riding in the car. So, thank you. Well, like I say, there are a lot of Woody Guthries, and the one that I could probably do, you know, a different show on each one and last a whole night. But the Woody Guthrie I want to focus on tonight is one who was able to step outside of that poor white oaky subculture with which he's normally associated through the Dust Bowl mostly, and who could look at American life from another perspective, a different racial perspective. And some of you may know about that Woody Guthrie as well. You may know how, for instance, in 1948, he read about a group of Mexican migrant workers who were rounded up after they'd outlived their usefulness in California, and they were put on a plane to be deported back to Mexico. And the plane crashed in the Los Gatos Canyon of California, killing everybody on board. And when Woody heard about it, he was incensed because it seemed that the newspapers and the radio, they didn't even bother to find out who these people were. They just were all lumped together under the name Deportees. You know, the newspapers, they told you who the pilot was, who the co-pilot was, who the cabin crew were, who the accompanying immigration officials were, but nobody cared about the names of these people. So he wrote a song, well, he wrote a poem about it. He never actually sang it. It's a poem that he would recite. And it wasn't until the 1950s later when a school teacher named Martin Hoffman put the song to music. And it became one of Woody Guthrie's most well-known songs on both sides of the Atlantic. I mean, Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, Judy Collins, Emmylou Harris, they've all recorded it. And one of the upshots of that song, this is a case of sort of life following art in a sense. Thanks to Woody's song, there's a fella out in California now. His name is Tim Hernandez. He's a writer, a poet and a novelist. And he and a couple friends of his were so moved by that song that they went on a sort of little detective hunt, and going through church records and various newspaper records and diaries and everything, they were able to recover every single name of those lost deportees. So that 2 years ago, a monument went up in Los Gatos at the site of the crash, and the name of every single one of those people is on that monument. They're no longer just deportees. Now the crops, they're all in, the peaches are rotting, oranges are packed in their creosote dumps. You're flying them back to the Mexican border. Takes all their money just to wade back again. Now my father's own father, he waded that river. They took all the money that he made in his life. My sisters and my brothers, they all worked in the orchards. Yeah, they rode on that truck till they took down and died. And it's goodbye to my Juan, goodbye Rosalita, adios mis amigos, Jesus y Maria. You won't have a name when you ride that big airplane. all that they'll call you will be deportee. Now some of us are illegal, others just not wanted. Our work contract's out and we got to move on. But it's 600 miles to that Mexican border, and they chase us like outlaws, like rustlers, like thieves. Now we've died in your hills, we've died in your deserts, we've died in your valleys, and we've died on your plains. We've died neath your trees, and we've died in your bushes. Both sides of the river, we died just the same. And it's goodbye to my one, goodbye, Rosalita, adios, mis amigos, Jesus y Maria. You won't have a name when you ride that big airplane. All they'll call you will be deportee. Skyplane caught fire over Los Gatos Canyon. Fireball of lightning that shook all our hills. Who were all these dear friends, all scattered like dry leaves? The radio says that they're just deportees. Now is this the best way to harvest our orchards? And is this the best way to gather our good crops? To die and to scatter, to rot on the topsoil, and to be known by no name except deportee. Goodbye to my one, goodbye, Rosalita, adios, mis amigos, Jesus y Maria. You won't have a name when you ride that big airplane. All they'll call you will be deportee.